Hey everybody in Kingman, it's Tom and Jen Coulson here. Honored to be talking about Harry. We can't believe we're asked to do this. I guess we've known Harry since about 1990 probably, and first time we met him was in Wilcox. We went on a summer vacation and we decided to stop by, and there is Harry, and he took us in, and we've been kind of really friends and compatriots ever since. And he honored us mostly, I guess, by having us write in his book, Desert Hawking with a little help from my friends. And I go way back with Harry. I got his first book, Desert Hawking, the one with the duct tape backing, and it was very cheap, which was perfect for me at the time. I was about 20 years old or so, and but anyway, got that book, got me hooked on Cooper's Hawks, which I flew for many, many years. And then in 77, I believe, Desert Hawking 2 came out. And that really got me going because I kind of have a kind of a love with the desert, being exotic to me, for being from Louisiana bayous. The desert was always a place I wanted to visit. So, and Harry found this basically kind of a new bird, the Harris's Hawk. It had been flown for a number of years, but not very well. And they were kind of here and there. And I didn't think anything much bottom at all. But Harry's book got me really going. So within 1 year, got my first Harris's Hawks, and I've always had one or more ever since.
Harry was a really great teacher, but he was also a student of falconry every day up until the end. He was always interested in what somebody else was doing and how they would do it. And, I remember him asking me, how do I reach out to this? Do you know a falconer who's flying an apogee cross, and do you know this, that? Just always interested in learning, even from people who weren't great falconers, because the truth of the matter is sometimes even they come up with good ideas. And I think we can all learn from Harry in that respect.
Yeah, mark of a great falconer to me is being humble. And Harry had so many accomplishments, but he was always humble. He would always ask questions of somebody much younger than him. He was very interested in even apprentices. And he'd tell me, he said, you can learn something from anybody. And I've kept that, this many years. That's the way I feel. It's amazing how many people look at things different ways. And, and Harry knew that. He was very, very bright about things like that. And he was always innovating, always trying to figure out different ways to do things. And when things failed, he'd, get back on the horse, so to speak. And a new idea, new plan, way to house birds, equipment, just anything with the catch game. It was always game oriented, which is the way we are. So it was like kindred spirits. It's like he's always trying to figure out a way to catch more quail, and whatever, more, but just a better way to do things. And that's very rare with somebody who was up in his age even then. It's like he was not stuck in the mud, constantly improving, constantly. And just everybody admired him for that. Plus, he had a great dry sense of humor, that smile. I can remember Harry's smile. Think about it all the time. And we're gonna probably have a shot of his medicine, as he called it, tonight, which of course is scotch. But every night we'd have a little shot of that, and remember about the hunt and stuff. And it's great. I'll remember Harry fondly.
One of the many things that we have to thank Harry for is all the great people that we got to meet through him. The McElroy household was just a revolving door. And so every time we went, we met new people. And also, through writings and other connections, we met people too. So there were wonderful connections like Oscar Biangolia, Rodrigo Monroe Wilson, and closer to home, when he was living in Wilcox, we got to meet Bob Carson. And then when he moved to Kingman, we got to connect with Jamaica and Greg Smith, and got to know Charlie Kaiser and Pam Hesse better. We also got to go on a trip to Tucson to meet the Roger Claude. And then, of course, I have to mention the rest of the McElroys, especially Beth McElroy. And it was just wonderful meeting all the wonderful clan, the kids. We really love the McElroy family.
Beth would take anybody, and I don't know, Harry had to have several hundred visitors over the year. I can't imagine how she handled it. She always handled it very calmly, and Harry would just go off doing his thing, and she'd be cooking and fixing things and putting up with a lot of odd people, including us.
Messy.
Anyway, messy.
And their animals.
All the animals and dogs.
We love you, Beth.
Yeah, Beth was the greatest. Without Beth, I mean, I don't think any of us would have met Harry hardly. I mean, she accepted everybody into the house. It was just wonderful, you know. Thank you, Beth.
Well, we thought we'd share with you one of our favorite hawking stories with Harry. And it was actually a trip that we took to Odessa, Texas. And we had been there before and had found quite a few quail, even though we were hunting jackrabbits. And so we set up a trip. Craig Golden and Kim Olson came, and Andrew Barnes was there to help with the dogs. Let's see, we also had Wolf Brueggemann and Paul Moore and his son Christopher. So it was quite a gang that we had assembled. And it may have been Harry's last hawking trip where he really traveled, but he was really excited about catching a bobwhite.
Yeah, he hadn't caught a bobwhite in many years, or hadn't caught one with the Harris's hawk. So he was really excited. He didn't want to go. We kept encouraging him. Oh, there's plenty of quail, Harry. You can really catch one. It's really good. It's perfect. So we got him to go, and sure enough, Harry showed up with his great Harris's hawk, and so we ended up finding quail, and we ended up catching a lot of jacks, having a great time. So anyway, I was pretty athletic then. I could run pretty well, so we went out late in the evening with Harry. I think he missed a quail early in the day, almost had one, and he wanted to get one more hunt in the end of the day. So it was probably pretty 4 o'clock in the afternoon. You know, light was fading, and sure enough, Covey got up. Dogs followed it. The Refugio followed it. You know, was sitting over it, and couldn't find a quail for a while. Jen goes, I know where the quail's at, and Jen kind of points to a bunch of weeds, and dogs run in there, flush the quail. Hawk goes off, goes up out of sight. It goes up 60, 70 feet high and just across the sky through all the mesquite and whatnot. So I'm going, wow, this is crazy. So I started running, and I'm about 200-300 yards away. The light is fading, and I'm running looking for him in a bunch of mesquite. And I found a wild female Harris hawk has got a pintail duck laying on top of the mesquite eating it. And I just stopped me in my tracks, and I go, wow, this is amazing. It was right next to a little lake. So I went about, maybe 100 feet further. There was Harry's bird on a quail under a mesquite. So I just stood still, didn't want to go in and bother anything, and waited for Harry and the gang to show up. And so Harry showed up excited, got the hawk and the quail, and then, you know, to our surprise,
He was very excited.
Very excited. To our surprise, Harry took the quail from the hawk, you know, traded off. And then while he was holding the hawk hooded, he had the quail talking. He was making up words at the quail. So we were all laughing. I think we had a bunch of pictures of it. I think we lost it in Hurricane Katrina, because this was about 2003, I believe.
2003.
Yeah, and then Katrina was 2005. We had great pictures of Harry playing with that quail. He was very excited, and that's one of my fondest memories.
Fortunately, Harry's legacy will live on through his many writings. He was a very prolific writer and really writes well, and knows what his end is in trying to communicate how he does things or why things should be done a certain way. And some of the main concepts that come through and prevail in all of Harry's work is to put the hawk first, to have excellent husbandry, an excellent diet, to hawk every day, to really give those animals opportunity to shine. And we thank him for that. And also, of course, weight control. The 22 and a half hour weight control. Or the 20.
That changed everybody's life in a positive way. And
so
yeah, he will be missed, but generations to come will live through his works, guaranteed. I mean, 100 years from now, I think if there's any falconers left on this earth, they'll be reading Harry, because it's unique, and there was nobody else like Harry, and here's to Harry. Thank you, everybody. Love y'all.